The eighth speakers at the 2018 La Trobe Business School Innovation and Food and Agribusiness Forum was a joint presentation between Sarah Lee and Gert Hendricks, co-directors of Farmwall. Their presentation is entitled How Farmwall Uses Food to Implement Sustainable Change from Within. According to Sarah and Gert, the delivery of sustainability is shifting through the rise of the experience economy and the push for health and wellness within our urban landscapes. And this is being aided by innovations in agtech. Farmwall is showcasing how a combination of technology and customer service can bring meaningful experience through food with positive social and environmental outcomes. Farmwall is a community-orientated social enterprise that aims to grow fresh, local and natural produce in close proximity to cities. This concept provides customer design, installation and maintenance of vertical farms and fresh produce maintenance systems inside restaurants to provide high-valued crops at the chef's fingertips. Environmentally, the Farmwall reduces food miles, food waste, pesticide and herbicide usage, water and energy costs and deforestation. Please enjoy Sarah and Gert's presentation.
So, for those of you who aren't familiar with what we do or have just heard about us for the first time today, we're an innovative startup that delivers sustainability through our farm walls, but also through our urban farms. And we do this through the experience in which we deliver that. So the delivery of sustainability is shifting through the rise of the experience economy. It's shifting through the push of health and wellness within our urban landscape, and also through the innovations that we see in ag tech and food tech. So Farmwall showcases how a combination of technology and customer service can create these meaningful experiences with positive social and environmental outcomes. And we really adopt that mindset of staying agile and embracing disruptive business models so we can bring us one step closer to creating the vision that our company sets out to see, which is creating cities that feed our planet.
So my name is Gert Hendricks. Hopefully we can entertain you a little bit this afternoon after lunch and a workshop. That mindset for us is extremely important, and it's how our Farmwall basically started off. And in 2016, Serena and I were playing with the concept of an urban farm, which had a restaurant, a small little brewery, its own coffee roastery, but would also be a completely closed loop and being able to grow its own produce and recycle all your organic waste. It was a very ambitious project, and we basically had to scale it down to get it started. And with a group of 10 people, we were able to do a workshop and basically turn our thinking around, like rather than building one farm, how can we build one small farm for a lot of restaurants rather than one big farm with one restaurant. And that's got us onto a journey where that night was the first concept of our Farmwall was made up, and it got us onto a journey like how can we make this happen now, like how can we get started. And prototype after prototype, and with support from different incubators and accelerators and going out in the market, validating as much as we could. We've learned on how we could perfect the system to a way where it's not only a beautiful piece of furniture, but it's also a mindset. I'll explain to you how the Farmwall works. So in the bottom there's a fish tank. And in the tank you've got fish, and the fish create ammonia. As humans, we create CO2 in the air. A fish creates ammonia in the water. That ammonia gets transferred into nitrites and nitrates by the good bacteria in the system. So on the top of the Farmwall there's a wetland, and in the back of the fish tank there's a biofilter. And all of those house an incredible amount of good bacteria. And those good bacteria create nitrate, which is natural fertilizer. And then that water gets circulated throughout the system, and we plant our microgreens in a fiber material made from hemp, which is completely organic, and that wicks up the water, basically, that runs through the system into the fiber and creates the perfect environment for the plants to grow, add grow lights and ventilation. And this bookshelf-like unit starts to operate like a natural ecosystem. And when you mimic nature and can completely close the loop, magic starts happening. And the farm will, it can deliver fresh produce for chefs and restaurants, but also educate about the closed loop thinking, and it's representation on how nature can actually provide the food we require, but also improve our living environment and our living space, and create other outcomes rather than food. So that's led us to the mission to let's use this mindset to transform our cities into food-producing ecosystems and implement nature in our day-to-day design thinking and in our day-to-day developments. Then we can actually use that way of thinking to create impact in the world. And we're very positive. There's not a lot of data on these slides, but we all know the world's going to have a population problem, environmental, climate change. We're all over-aware, so but we see a very bright future that if we implement the farm-wall design thinking in our cities, in our schools and hospitals and in public space, we can actually end up in a city that's green, that adopts nature rather than waste, and a city that can actually become resilient and look after itself. It's a very bold, big vision, and lots is necessary, of course, to make that happen. But as a small startup with a small little farm wall, we can make a start towards it, and we can make a dent. And if there's something we can do, that's what we can do now, and scale this up through the mindset and create as much food in the city as we possibly can, so we're less dependent on the natural resources as we are now. So Farmwell is also a social enterprise. So we see ourselves as a very responsible company. Like I think to come to a sustainable future, responsibility is very important. So as a company, we're set up to educate around sustainable food production. We want to create jobs in urban agriculture for people with a disadvantage. We want to regenerate habitats where most required. And we want to utilize urban farming to aid mental and physical health benefits in our day-to-day. So what is sustainability for us? Like I said it before, like one is responsibility, but sustainability is also adopting it from a mindset again, where it's much more than just ecologically, environmentally, and waste and zero waste and closing the loop. But sustainability also means financial sustainability. So making these concepts work from a business model perspective. It's our physical health, our mental health sustainability. It's our buildings, it's the roads, it's everything that comes, and how we interact with the planet that we live in. So we approach sustainability as a much broader, holistic picture than just the social and environmental concept of it. So sustainability is also, like, I'm sure you all feel a little bit like that. We're all aware about we have to be more sustainable. We all have to use our keep cups. We all have to stop buying plastic bottles and bring your own bags. And it's very easy these days, like, to be judged and to feel guilty if you're not doing the right thing, or you forgot your coffee cup in the dishwasher and you need that coffee to get started. It's sustainability is becoming a problem for us as individuals, but also for corporates and for institutions. It's hard to live by the expectations of sustainability as an organization. And that's where we set out to solve the problem of sustainability within hospitality, but also within the corporate and the educational spaces.
And from just a baseline sustainable model as well, from the farm wall itself, Obviously, growing produce on site means that you mitigate all of the packaging and plastic waste that comes from herbs and microgreens, all of the transport of the delivery it takes, all of the storage that it takes to have them in the space that it takes. So that's the baseline metrics that we can start calculating, but then after that, there's much more that it can do from a broader, holistic, sustainable point of view.
So, sustainability also in business models means a whole different approach towards business. So how are we going to make sustainability financial sustainability? I'm not sure if you guys are aware of the growth of the as-a-service models. We've got hardware as a service, software as a service, and the likes. So Farmwell originally started off as a hardware as a service business model. So basically, there's no ownership involved. We don't go out into the market selling you a Farmwell. We sell you the benefits of having greenery in your environment, the benefits of eating produce that's 40% more nutrient rich than the produce you buy at Coles. And letting go of selling that unit and selling that ownership creates something great, because ownership in theory isn't sustainable. Again, as a business, we can take responsibility. We take responsibility for our own product and make sure that it keeps delivering the service that we've sold you. See this, for example, a dishwasher producer. Now you go to Harvey Norman and you buy a dishwasher, and you pay $600 and you get your dishwasher for 5 years. Maybe every year when something's wrong, you have to go on AirTasker and get someone to go and fix it. But with all the new technologies out there now, in the future, you won't be going to buy a dishwasher anymore. You go online and you buy the service of clean dishes. And you put in your address and you sign up for $20 a month for clean dishes for the next 10 years. And the dishwasher provider provides you with the service of clean dishes. They'll come and install the dishwasher that blends in with your kitchen, that fits in with your lifestyle, that measures everything, all the efficiency, the water usage, and the likes, and it makes sure that you always have clean dishes. So they've got their agreements with the dishwashing liquid providers and the likes. So, but what that does from a sustainability perspective is it puts the responsibility back to the producer. So they're going to make a more durable unit. They're going to take responsibility for that. If they're going to make it out of materials that they can reuse and implement later on, they're going to make it smart. They're going to use AI and IoT to make sure they know exactly what's happening within your dishwasher so that you've got your clean dishes. And that's the model that we basically set out to operate on. And we're seeing it much larger now. Than it's not just hardware as a service. It's not just the software that we implement in this and the outcomes that we measure implementing different softwares. But we're selling the service of the outcome. So bringing more sustainability, bringing more a new mindset, bringing the education, and really changing the organizations from within by implementing sustainability in the form of a farm. Just quickly on AgTech, without going too much in the details, because a lot has been said on that already this morning. But AgTech, again, it's the more technology we implement in these kind of systems from an IoT perspective, and the smarter they become, the more efficient they're going to become. Efficiency means more sustainability. And AgTech is solving so many problems on broader scales that the more efficient farming becomes, water efficient, soil efficient, that all goes towards a better future. That's why we're so positive about it. And the changes in values within that industry, it's not yet, innovation is incredibly important, but also we're going from competition to collaboration. Like it's no longer a necessarily competitive market out there, it's a collaborative market. If we work together, we can get a lot more done. And all those different elements and value changes within the AgTech are incredibly promising. We're going back to bacteria in the soil rather than trying to make fertilizers more efficient. No-till rather than till, back to promoting healthy soils rather than depleting them. So we see so many good signs that within that industry that we're incredibly proud to be a part of it as well.
So some of the challenges of being in the innovation space and having a disruptive business model and delivering essentially the hardware as a service as discussed, as well as software as a service, that sustainability as a service, is that people don't really understand what it means yet, and people don't really yet understand what the value is that they're getting, because while everyone can see many different value propositions, whether it's health, well-being, nutrition, design, aesthetic, efficiency, they all love it, but because the data hasn't been around of what we're doing from the farm laws for long enough, because it's so new, they don't have the metrics to be able to compare it to their finances, and so we're constantly inundated with, that's really cool, that's really great, I love it, I love what you guys do, that's amazing, let's get one. And then as soon as we talk about price, they're like, oh, well, you know. And so it's this constant battle that we face of everyone wants it, but no one wants to pay for it because that value is yet to be received. So, and then there's the aspect of the service model itself. We've had a lot of people trying to just purchase farm walls outright from us, and we could have made a pretty significant margin on selling farm walls, but we've always chosen to take the back foot from that, because what happens when that shiny marble aspect dies off and people go on holiday, they don't want to take care of it anymore, they get bored, something breaks, and then all of a sudden it's just more crap in landfill, and our company gets a bad reputation, urban farming gets a bad reputation, the technology that we're trying to embrace all of a sudden has a bad name. So we really try and involve ourselves all the way through that chain and have the really intimate relationship with our customers so that we can maintain some of that. But obviously with that comes a lot of, the labor costs are very high and we can't scale as fast as we would like to. It's proven tricky to service the home and residential market, because going out there and servicing farm walls in a home where they're consuming much less produce, it's not worth the route until we can get the logistics down right, that we can have, farm walls strung through in apartment buildings, or perhaps it's one unit that's shared by many. So that's another one of the challenges is also how to scale in a sustainable fashion as well. And from the produce, it's a very interesting. It's very interesting because it's, a lettuce that you would grow in an urban farm is very different to a lettuce that's grown in a regional area that's been shipped over. It's very hard to compete with price, and we're trying to, through our storytelling, articulate that message that it is a different product, and it's food. If you see it and it has blemishes on it, it's okay, it's still healthy, it's fine to eat, just because it doesn't look like a perfect, I'm just a bit cautious for time, so I might keep going. And that's part of, why we're not making a business out of selling produce either. We're growing our business through innovation and through the experience of eating that urban grown lettuce too. So a really interesting case of how two companies are innovating together is Farmwall and Mirvac, big real estate company. So they wanted to see if they could extract greater value from underutilized space, and so they were looking at their car parks in some of their buildings, mainly their big office tower in 200 George Street in Sydney, and they were saying, in the future, all these car parks are going to become redundant because the rise of autonomous vehicles and driverless cars, all these cars are going to be driving themselves back home. So what do we do with all of this space, and how do we future-proof all of our assets and make sure that we stay on top of the trends? And they found our company and they said, we heard you guys do the farm walls in cafes and restaurants. Can you do urban farms? And can you do more? Can you help us create greater value from underutilized space on a larger scale? So we did a 6-week trial with them, with the corporates from Mirvac, EY, and AGL, and we we trained them all up as urban farmers, and we did these really amazing 45-minute sessions with them where we taught them everything they need to know about health and wellness and microgreens, aquaponics, hydroponics, how to take all the tricks and apply it at home. And it was really successful, and we're hoping now that we can start pushing this idea so that it'll become like the new end of trip facilities. But obviously it's, neither of us we hadn't done it before, Mirvac hadn't done it before. It was a very interesting example of how innovation was happening from within, of two companies coming together, where it was a total experiment. Every day we were like, all right, that was bad. That didn't work well. That worked really well. Let's do more of that. How do we do that again? How do we iterate and keep making it better and more beautiful, and keep polishing it so that the next time we can prove that we can have commercial models that are successful through this, so that we can have permanent sustainable change. And yeah, I think that's what I was speaking about before with that innovative mindset of what does it take to innovate and to really harness that. And it's really to just keep pivoting. And as Geert was discussing before, we started with the idea of, the broader urban farm, where there'd be the co-working space and the brewery and having vertical farms on skyscrapers, and then it was pivoted so that it could reach a business model that we could actually execute that, and now it's pivoting again so that we can follow the market and have real commercial scalability. So yeah, I think we're close to time, so I might end it on that note. But thank you for listening to our presentation, and if you guys want to chat.